Chapter: The Evolution of the West. The Great Tour of Reconciliation had ended, and the fires of internal discord had been beaten out on neutral soil. Now, the armies dispersed, returning to their respective regions, carrying the heavy wisdom of the sanctuaries back to their home turf. Across the state and regional districts, the unaligned armies settled back into their local strongholds. But they weren't the same fighters who had limped into the Central Valley months ago. They brought back the relentless, aggressive gospel of the West Coast: rush that shit down. Training grounds buzzed with a newfound energy as veterans taught the new blood how to push the pace, suffocate the neutral game, and break open tough defenses. Styles were rapidly evolving, fusing old-school fundamentals with hardware innovation. Players began blending the heavy, clicky, indestructible power of MOS Systems joysticks with the lightning-fast, precision-crafted snap of Japanese arcade sticks. It was a massive technological and mechanical melting pot, giving birth to an entirely new era of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 play. The game was changing, and the West Coast was leading the charge into the future. Spectators and pilgrims across the arcades. With the borders open and mutual respect forged through combat, generals and warriors traveled freely across local arcades to scout, spectate, and push each other further. Regency and family fun. Duck Vader made his way over to Regency Arcade, meticulously testing the cabinets, the stick tension, and the local talent to ensure the southern bastion remained razor-sharp. Meanwhile, Deathwish headed down to Family Fun, keeping a watchful, commanding eye on the burgeoning talent there. Under Deathwish's strict guidance, the players gathering at Family Fun were growing more formidable by the day, shaping up into a terrifyingly cohesive army. James Games. Deep inside the hallowed halls of James Games, Mike Chaos was holding court as usual when a familiar figure walked through the door. Mike bumped straight into Potter, leading to an immediate, high-level session of sparring and exchanging notes on character matchups under the neon glow. Pizza and portals at Regency. Over at Regency Arcade, the smell of fresh pizza hung thick in the air. Regency Thrilla wiped the grease from his hands, pulled a slice from the box, and hollered across the crowded room, calling Clockwork over to the cabinets. The legendary player walked over, grabbed a slice, and immediately sat down for a grueling training session, trading high-tier tech and deep tactical insights. The renaming of Alex's Arcade. In another corner of the region, a historic venue underwent a transformation. Formerly known simply as Cameron's, the arcade officially changed its name to Alex's Arcade. The doors were thrown wide open, and players flooded in from all directions. It had become a thriving hub where everyone gathered to test their limits. Surrounded by the hum of cooling fans and roaring crowds, the local roster had evolved into absolute monsters of the craft, forged in the fires of endless rematches and high-stakes sets. Breaking bread across coasts. The hostility that once divided the community felt like a lifetime away. The culture had shifted entirely. Even visiting players from distant regions and other coasts, warriors who had once been fierce, bitter enemies, now sat shoulder to shoulder with the Western locals on the arcade stools. They battled intensely until quarters ran dry, and when the arcade lights finally flickered off, they walked out together to grab a beer or three, laughing, sharing stories, and bonding over a shared love for the game. The West Coast had not only survived its internal chaos and external threats, it had evolved into a united, unstoppable empire, ready for whatever the future of Marvel had to throw at them.